So we just upgraded this head unit in the Subaru Forester. This is a 2015 onwards model, so anything with this style dash. This new unit's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and app functions, but it also has dual USB in this car, we just noticed. So we did a video showing you how to adapt the whole install, plug and play, really easy install. But when you have the center console on these have a dual USB and an AUX in here. So we'll just try and light that up a little bit so you can see it. I'll get a light. Hang on. So there you go, in the center console, you can see it's got a dual USB and auxiliary. So if you have this in your Subaru Forester, even if it's under the center console here, some of the Lavorgs have it here, you can get this kit, and we're gonna show you how to install this today. It is a dual USB and auxiliary kit, so it's a little bit harder to install, but probably the trickiest bit, but we'll show you separately. So dual USB, AUX port, and that will work on a unit like this Kenwood, which has dual USB and AUX input. So you can see here, two USBs, AUX input. So it has to go in the back of the stereo. So your stereo has to be compatible, which the Kenwoods are, and that will run through there and plug and play. So let's pull this dash apart. We'll show you how to do that quickly as well. The first step you want to do, and you probably want to do this before you install the whole stereo, but on this vehicle, this car already had the stereo, and we're going to go back and do this. So if that's out, do it with that out. It makes it easier to get to the back of the stereo. We're going to have to do that as well. But pull these side panels off. They just simply clip forward, pull back towards you. And then again, these non-marring pry bars are the best thing to use on plastics. Under the front here, you're just going to push under and clip up. All right, very easy to do. You can put your foot on the brake and move the gear lever out of the way. And there's little plugs, little locking tabs on the side. You're just going to undo all the plugs. There's 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to get that out of the way. Oh, they're very tight plugs. There you go. 3. So 3 plugs. Put the gear back in to stop you beeping. 2 screws. Okay, we're going to undo those 2 screws first. So next you want to move the seats forward. So the front seats, move them forward, and on the rear of the console, left and right side, you're going to pop these little covers off. All right. They all pop off, and in there you'll be able to see a little bit. It'll be a 10mm socket or a Phillips head screw, but the socket you won't strip. You're going to use a socket. Just be careful not to drop it. But even if you do drop it, you'll still be able to get it because you're lifting the console up. So do that on either side. Now you won't be able to see this side, but you get the idea, and then we can lift the whole console up. From here, you want to be popping this center console up. So we just lever this from the front, and it lifts up a bit. The back will be loose now, and you can lift that up. And what we want to do is get that pushed from behind and push it upwards, okay? Because it'll clip out that way. There we go. It's a little bit tight, and if you have to, there is some plugs on the back of it. You can do it by feel, but it is a little bit harder. There we go. Just unplug them. So on the back, there's 2 little plugs, and they have locking tabs on the top of them. And you just unclip them completely, save getting the whole console up and out if you want to. But we're gonna pull this apart now on the bench, and we're gonna wire up the new electronics, and it's gonna quickly run the USBs up behind the stereo. So like I said, if you have the stereo out, it's actually quite an easy job to do. So here we are on the bench, and the next step is we're just gonna open up this front cover. There's 4 little sections you're gonna clip off. A little bit painful, we're just gonna use a flat blade screwdriver. This is just a little bit fiddly. We'll probably just lift it up, push it forward as you're lifting it up. Push these down. There you go, you can see I've got that side off. Side, and then just the bottom. There we go. So that's the front cover off, as you can see it there, and there's a PCB board. And there's a little screw on the back here, just going to undo that. It's a little Phillips head. We can use it in a flat blade because it's really loose. You'll be able to slide that out. The main reason is we've got to change these adapters, is what we need to do. So let's see if we can get that out. There we go, push it from the rear. Boom. So that is the factory one, and there is the new one. So as you can see, pretty cool. I'm going to try and slot that back in now. See if it all works. So we just checked that out quickly to make sure we knew what we were doing, but all we're going to do is put these cables through from the new harness first. Just going to plug them in. They'll only go in one way. Little locking tab on top. In she goes. Probably should have done that back one first. Making my life hard here. Maybe undo this one. Making my life hard there by having that second one in first. There we go. All right, make sure they're both locked in nice and neat. As you push this in, there is actually some guides on the left and right. You can see the runners on the right there. We're going to slot that in. So those guides, make sure they sit in there perfectly. Okay, and then the new one even has the PCB screw. Put your screw back in, and you put your front cover back on, and she's ready to go in the car. Now we're just going to run that up behind the stereo and plug it in. Really easy to do. So that's really not that hard an upgrade. These units, because they do have a PCB, a little bit more expensive than the single USB adapters. Next step, easy through the big hole and under. Now you want to just make sure you run these cables out of the way. Not going to get them stuck in your gear lever there. So you just want to keep them over to the side. And that's just going to clip back in. Very simple. You don't need to put the plugs in the back because you've got the new plugs through. We're going to leave this up. We're going to mount it over to the left-hand side here. We're going to come under this lever. Doesn't matter if it's manual or auto. You've still got plenty of room in these things. It's just going to be a little bit fiddly. Get my hands around there. Let's just move that. Take my watch off. It's a bit big. So there you go. See it through there. And we've got the cables through. 1, 2, 3. Done. Grab them through and yank them through nice and neat. So that wasn't too hard. This takes a little bit of time. Make sure it's tucked under. So when we put it all back in, you want it hidden away. You can probably tape those against other cables down there. Now, to give us a bit of room, we pulled the stereo out because you presumably would be installing this all at one time. This bottom cover can pull forward. So, there we go. One, left and right. There we go. We're gonna put our foot on the brake again, get the gear lever out of the way. There is a little light on the bottom of it, so you can undo that as well. It's a little clip on the back of it. There we go. So, that's just gonna give us a little bit more room again. Stick our hand up behind here and go into the back of the Kenwood unit. There's tons and tons of rooms. So, I'm gonna try and do this without pulling the whole stereo out because I want to plug it all back in again. There we go. Straight up. Easy. Now, what we're going to do, pull that forward a little bit, hold it in our hand, and turn the stereo off as we do this. And we're going to plug it all in and we're going to make sure it's all going to work. So he's got dual function USB. So on an earlier video for this installation, we had the secondary USB in the glove box. I guess you could actually just make one of these USBs work if you wanted one in the glove box, but he's got two here. So in the center console, we're going to make it two.